Good morning and welcome to the 2021 Women Veterans Roundtable, Resource Roundtable here in Virginia's 10th Congressional District. We're excited to be joined by a great group of individuals this morning. They're going to provide us with this wonderful information regarding resources available to our women veterans. Without further ado, I'd like to get us started here by kicking it over to Congresswoman Jennifer Wexton for introduction.
Thank you so much, Anthony, and good morning, and thank you all for joining us for this important discussion. I'm so pleased to be joined by Elizabeth Estabrooks, who's the Deputy Director at the VA Center for Women Veterans, Beverly Van Tall, the Virginia Women Veterans Program Manager at the Virginia Department of Veterans Services, Dr. Richard Siemens, Chief of Staff at Martinsburg Veterans Affairs Medical Center. Today marks the start of Women's Veterans Week, and I can't think of a better way to begin this week than by having this conversation on the ways we can help our women veterans, the resources available, and the challenges many of them face today. We're going to discuss the VA and DVS initiatives designed to positively impact the experience of women veterans within the VA and VA medical centers, the growth of the women veteran community, and the challenges faced as the system adapts to accommodate that growth. Our FY21 appropriations allocated $6.6 billion for VA women's healthcare, but the need continues to grow. Virginia has one of the largest populations of women veterans in the nation. Virginia 10 alone is home to 7,000 women veterans. In the Commonwealth, they make up 14% of the adult population. The proportion of women veterans in the total veteran population is projected to continue to increase. Knowing this, we must ensure that our women veterans populations is protected, has access to critical resources, and that we are addressing the issues and challenges many face. I really want to thank our guests for being here, and with that, I'll toss it to them to give a short introduction of themselves before we jump right into questions. And Ms. Estabrooks, let's start with you.
Thank you, and thank you, Congresswoman, for inviting me here today. This is a wonderful event, and thank you to all the women veterans out there who served. That the U.S. could not have done it without you. We've been serving since the American Revolution. I am myself an Army veteran. I served from 1977 to 1980 at a time when women were only about 4% of the U.S. military. And it wasn't a friendly place for women then. And so I have a history, a background in serving in advocacy and activism for women in particular, and women veterans. So I came to the Department of Veterans Affairs Center for Women Veterans about a year ago, and I'm thrilled to be here because it is my heart work. And the initiatives that we conduct here at the center support the mission. The Center for Women Veterans was established in 1994 in order to make sure that women veterans really got the services that they are entitled to and deserve. And so the Center for Women Veterans helps improve services and add to cultural transformation and make the VA a friendly, more open place for women veterans. In 2020, we developed the hashtag Bring Women Vets Home to VA. And so everything that we do is around that hashtag. That hashtag is the centerpiece for our work because it's what we do. It's what we are focused on. About 800,000 women are currently enrolled in the VA, but not that many use the VA for a variety of reasons. But there are 2 million women veterans. I use the VA. I didn't always use the VA, and I didn't use the VA because I didn't think I was a veteran. I didn't start using the VA until about 13 years ago, because if you asked me if I was a veteran, I said no. But if you asked me if I served in the military, I said yes. And I didn't use the VA because when I got out of the military, I was told that I would never be qualified for services because of when I served during the Cold War, that I wasn't eligible. And so I believed that. And so what we want women to know is that if you served in the military, we want you to go to someone like Beverly here and find out about your services, about your benefits. We want you to go to wherever you are and find out what your services are that you're entitled to. Don't assume that you're not a veteran. Please don't assume that you're not qualified or eligible for your benefits. One of the things that we like to do is honor women veterans. So we, in November, our communications manager, have a little tissue when you watch this, developed this beautiful mosaic. So I'm going to ask that this be shown real quickly. It only takes about 90 seconds or so, but get a tissue because you might shed a little tear. Please go ahead and show the video. I think Justin has that. No? Okay, I can, oh, here we go. We don't have any volume.
I think we're experiencing some audio difficulties, unfortunately.
Okay, so while he's working on that, I'll go ahead and continue. So I want to talk about some of the initiatives that we do that help support women veterans. One of the most important things was in 2018, one of our previous Center for Women Veterans directors signed a memorandum of agreement with the National Association of State Women Veteran Coordinators, which Beverly is a member, and that was a really, really important memo because it established a pretty firm partnership. There are about 36 members of that association. There's state women veteran coordinators that we partner with because we can't be everywhere. We can't be in every state doing the groundwork, but they can be. And they're the one association or organization in the United States that truly serves all women veterans. And so we work with them closely to do the work that we can't be on the ground doing, to connect with women veterans, to bring women veterans home to the VA. We also have the I Am Not Invisible campaign that has been a 3-year project in the work. It started in Oregon. And we just took the last photo in December in Hawaii. We have 3,075 photos of women veterans in the United States and Puerto Rico. And our phase 2 is making sure that those photos get put into VAs. And again, that's part of the cultural transformation. That's making sure that when people go into the VA, we're not just putting those in the women's clinics. We're asking that those be put into the public areas, because when people go into the VA, we want them to see proud, strong women veterans and be reminded that women served in the United States military right alongside the men. They're beautiful, powerful, strong images of women veterans, and we made those available to the members of the National Association of State Women Veteran Coordinators too. Beverly, I don't know if you got that memo, but you can ask me about that. We also have the Women Veteran Trailblazers Initiative. We are just getting ready to announce the 2021 Trailblazers. It's a beautiful program that started also in 2018 to 2019. And this is our second time. We've chosen 27 this time. We're getting more applications and it's getting harder and harder to choose. So we have decided to choose 27 of them, and they are helping us also. They're on the ground doing work with women veterans, doing work in the public, doing work with partners, and helping us bring women veterans home to the VA as well. We've also started an initiative last year doing roundtables with the American Indian and Alaska Native population. We did our first one in Arizona in September, and we're working on our second roundtable that is going to be in Oklahoma. And the purpose of that, it's a largely underserved population. And the purpose of that is to understand the weaknesses in the VA for the women in that population. What do we need to do better? What did the women who are served in those particular states need from the VA? We bring VA partners from those areas to the table, and then we follow up. We also have developed a MOA with WMSA, with the Women's Military Memorial, which we are doing a lot of work with them. And the Minority Veterans of America, we just signed that MOA. And that's really important because our LGBTQ brothers and sisters All of our LGBTQ veteran population have not always been served well by the VA, and they're not always feeling welcome. They're not always feeling like it's a place for them. And so we wanted to make sure that we are doing the work that we need to do to make sure the women who are in that LGBTQ population are feeling welcome, are getting the services they need, can have some place that they can come to get some help. So we're working with MVA to see how we can make those changes. We are also, we've just started an initiative. We have about 7 VAs that are enthusiastically on board to change. You know, VAs are traditionally, those spaces are named after men. And so we've started a naming spaces after women veterans initiative. Now, we can't name entire VAs because that literally takes an act of Congress. Now, some are doing it. New York just changed the name of their hospital. California has one in the works. But without an act of Congress, we found out that we can have spaces, for instance, cafeterias, libraries, auditoriums, et cetera, named after women veterans. So we've helped, we and some other leaders at the VA wrote some guidelines so that can happen. And we've got some visions around the United States who have said, we're going to do this. So we're excited so that people can go into a VA and see a woman veteran's name there. And we are also, of course, we have our National Monthly Partners Breakfast of partners who focus on women veterans. That's the first Wednesday of the month. Congresswoman, we'd love to have you be on the call for that. No media is invited to that. We make the announcement every month that if you're media, please hang up. The media is not allowed. For one thing, because it's a safe space. We also are developing a partnership. It's a sort of a triple MOA with the Office of Small, I can't remember, it's Business and Development and Commerce that is focused on minority women. And so it's going to help women who are trying to break in, becoming entrepreneurs, who are breaking into owning their own businesses. And that's going to be really, really exciting because women veterans make excellent entrepreneurs. They make very successful entrepreneurs, but they don't always get into those businesses. And so this partnership with these organizations is going to be so important, especially for women of color, especially for tribal women, especially for the women who have met those barriers before. And finally, our women veterans authors. We have, right now we're just doing it quarterly, but we're hoping that when we get our feet wet, that we can start doing it monthly. But this month, we just released the video with Irene Trowell Harris, who was a former director at the center. Her book is, I can't remember the name of it, it's Bridges. Listen to the interview. It's on our website. But every quarter, we have an interview with a woman veteran author. And hers is, it's a beautiful interview. It's about her journey from a child in the cotton fields to being the first African-American woman general, a pilot in the Air Force. A nurse. I'm sorry, not a pilot, a nurse, 2-star general, and ultimately the director at the Center for Women Veterans. So quite an inspiring journey that she took in her life. So those are that's what we do with our staff. We're thrilled to be here doing this for women veterans. And we do all of this in an attempt to make sure that women veterans know they have a home, to do that outreach. And we also do work with women veterans. If women contact the center and say, hey, I'm having a problem, I have this issue, we respond directly to those women. So that's what we do here at the Center for Women Veterans.
Wow, it sounds like you've been quite busy, Elizabeth. That's great. Wonderful. And I know that Anthony will have some questions for you about specific programs in a moment. But let's move on to Dr. Siemens. Hi, Dr. Siemens. I think you win the prize for having the best view out your window today on this beautiful day.
Thank you, Congresswoman. I appreciate that. Thanks for the office space.
So tell us a little bit about what's going on at the VA in Martinsburg.
Well, we're very happy. As I say, I am Dr. Richard Siemens. I've been the chief of staff here for almost 3 years. I did my graduate medical training, started delivering babies down at Portsmouth Naval Hospital here in Virginia, and then did a preventive medicine residency at the Medical College of Virginia, VCU, in Richmond. I was a career Navy officer. Started off in the JAG Corps actually for 6 years, and then finished my last 2/3 of it was in the Medical Corps. So I wound up in Iraq, and I can tell you some very serious stories about being in a shock trauma platoon with, mortars falling, and these reserve or National Guard nurses, Air National Guard nurses, were just adjusting the IVs, and as the mortars were falling around us and exploding, they were like, "Oh, it's raining again. It's raining." So I saw firsthand the valor of our women veterans there in Iraq. I spent a little over a year there, but we're very proud and anxious to meet the challenges here in the VA and in Martinsburg and Virginia, especially. Going forward, we see that our women veterans are our fastest growing demographic of veterans. We anticipate another almost 22% growth here in our area in women veterans over the next 10 years. So naturally, we need to get out in front of that. I'm happy to say that we have a women's primary care clinic under construction here in Martinsburg. We have 11% of our veterans are women, and we also have an annual system and assessment team that looks at staying ahead, staying engaged with the needs of women, not just for preventive care. I'm proud to say that we have a full-time gynecologist on staff here, as well as 2 other women's health providers in the women's health clinic here. At Stevens City, our community-based outpatient clinic, we actually have 2 designated women's health providers. We also have training in or space in our domiciliary for female domiciliary beds so that they can have safe and gender-specific care available to them. We're very proud of our I'm Not Invisible campaign, which was rolled out by, there we go, I got a smile from Miss Estabrooks there. On the, we have that proudly displayed right by our cafe, and it means a lot with our women veterans. And the I Am Not Invisible, we wanted that in a very prominent place, and it is there. 60% of our employees are female here in Martinsburg, and our community-based outpatient clinics as well. We're just very excited to be growing from and transitioning from an older male population to a younger female population in terms of our focus in VHA healthcare.
Great. Thank you so much, Dr. Siemens. I'm delighted to hear that you guys have that women's primary clinic under construction now, because I had the opportunity to visit the one at the DC VA, and it's really a wonderful space and a great place for women veterans to get their care and services. And for us in Virginia 10, where most of my constituents can have a choice about whether to go to Martinsburg or DC, because we're kind of right in the middle. So hopefully that will be a selling point for you guys in Martinsburg as well. Great. Thank you so much. And last but not least, I want to introduce Beverly Van Tall from Virginia DVS, a place that has really was near and dear to my heart because I served on the Board of Veterans Services back when I was in the state Senate. So I know all the great work that you do for Virginia veterans. But Beverly, talk a little bit about what's going on in Virginia and what DVS is doing for our veterans.
Thank you so much, Congresswoman Wexton. We truly appreciate all of your legacy of support and everything that you and Delegate Murphy had done to really get us started on the right track here in Virginia, so we'd be able to take care of our women veterans here in Virginia. It is exciting to be a part of the Virginia Department of Veterans Services, a team that proudly serves our veterans across the Commonwealth and their family members. And so we're looking at having had this program up and running through COVID all the way back to 2018. It has just been amazing to see the growth from then to now, especially through transitioning from in-person outreach and really doing activities to becoming all virtual, or pretty much 90% virtual. And we're looking forward to transitioning as it is safer to be together. But what I will do is kind of take a moment and introduce myself to those that may not know me, because I know everyone on the panel here. Beverly VanTull, I'm a proud Army veteran. I spent 15 years in the active duty medical service corps. I was a medical service corps officer. Patient administration, medical records was my place of service. I deployed 2 times to Iraq and saw a lot of things that grew me in just my heart of patriotism and really understanding the full sacrifice of service, and how some of my fellow women and men that served alongside me, their heroic ways and their courage and their integrity, and some were not able to come back with me. And so being able to really continue my service as a woman veteran here in Virginia, it has just been phenomenal to connect with a great leadership under Commissioner John Maxwell and and of course under our secretary Carlos Hopkins, and their vision of what we are moving forward to do for our women veterans. And just to share a few things that we're doing and that we've been able to really grow despite COVID, we were able to take a lot of what we were doing. We had started in the in-person side of the house. We were doing women veteran roundtables. We were traveling them regionally with Delegate Murphy so that we could get closer to the heart of what our women veterans needed, hearing directly from them from each region, because we understood that all of our women veterans here have different needs, and being able to reach them where they were, we were able to really be able to conversate with them and get an understanding of what they needed. And a lot of the things we heard was of course, in the employment space. And we have those services here with the Department of Veterans Services, and with our partnership with the Virginia Employment Commission, we're able to meet the needs of our women veterans as it relates to employment, resume writing, mock interviews, and really getting them prepared to grow in their careers, not just having a job, but being able to transition as they're getting out of the service and really look at that next major step that they're taking back into the civilian society. Then for those that needed any assistance with benefits, we have a phenomenal set of colleagues under Director Donna Williams that takes care of anything it has to do with claims. We definitely have professionals with our VVFS, our Virginia Veterans Family Support, that supports our family members also in providing access to our community members, our community partners, resources. If there are any women veterans, any veterans having issues with chronic needs, then we can jump in and really provide that additional hand at the state level. And of course, we have such phenomenal relationships with our federal partners, the Center for Women Veterans. Oh my goodness, here locally in Vision 6, we have some phenomenal partners in Richmond, Salem, and Hampton Roads that we work hand in hand to support the needs, mainly the healthcare needs of our women veterans if they find themselves in those places. And we also assist all women veterans, no matter the characterization of their service. So if they've gotten out in a less than honorable situation, we have support with our VVFS team, the Virginia Veterans Family Support Team. And all of this information can be found at www.dvs.virginia.gov. So I don't belabor the time because I'm excited about the questions and answer portion. But we have so many services that we can help all women veterans, no matter of their era, no matter of their age, no matter of their characterization of service at the state level. That was the investment our governor made sure to make in the Virginia Department of Veterans Services. And then just one last thing to share on the women veteran side, back again, when we had to go and navigate this COVID not being together in person, we were able to develop some virtual platforms, mainly using Zoom and all of the platforms we have accessible to us to do virtual resource hours. One of the biggest things we heard in Virginia is our women veterans are ready to rock and roll. They can take care of themselves. They can make it happen. They need the resources. They need to know the people to go to. And when COVID, the pandemic came, a lot of our nonprofits, or better yet, my leader likes to call it the sea of goodwill, people were drowning in it. Our women veterans were drowning in the sea of goodwill. And so it was my job to continue to reach out in the community and see who was still here and see who was not. And then make sure our women veterans were aware of who they are and where they are. So I ended up just changing it into a virtual platform, a resource hour once a month. And we introduced or reintroduced our women veterans to all the partners that were still viable and functioning during COVID. So it wasn't a runaround. It didn't feel like we were overloading one partner or another, and we did really rely heavily on internal resources and the federal resources at the VA to be able to take care of our women veterans. I really think that between the VA and what we were doing here with VDVS, we really covered and took care of the needs of our women veterans. We have a News You Can Use monthly newsletter. So go to our website, sign up for it, and we let you know everything that's coming up, whether it's career services, whether it's our VTAP transition connection services, whether it's an employment platform. We have all of that available to our women veterans virtually. And this week, for Women Veterans Week, the third week of March, we're excited to really push out and highlight a lot of those services and all of the DVS team and colleagues and partners here in Virginia that will help us get closer to meeting the needs of our women veterans. Thank you.
Thank you, Beverly. Wow. So my big takeaway so far is for women veterans not to assume that they're not eligible for any of these great services. So check and see, because it sounds like just about everybody will be, and that there's great opportunities available. All right, at this point, we do have some Q&A from a lot of casework questions that we got, and also questions from constituents. So I'm going to toss it to Anthony to share some of those questions and direct them to the right person.
Thank you very much, ma'am. So I should start off by introducing myself. I didn't do that at the beginning, and I apologize. My name is Anthony Barnes. I serve as the Military and Veterans Affairs Manager for Congresswoman Wexton here in Virginia's 10th District. It's my absolute honor to fill that role. I'd also like to start out by mentioning something that was mentioned in the introduction section. When it comes to eligibility, if you have questions, if you have concerns, you're not quite sure who to reach out to me, please. I'm happy to get you in touch with the right folks to determine that at either of the VA hospitals or wherever you may live. Okay, so on to some questions that were brought forth to us by constituents, as well as some internal here. And I'm going to start out with a question directed at Ms. Van Tall. Please, anyone feel free to chime in if you have a response. So obviously with COVID occurring the last year, employment has become a disproportionately large issue, and it does affect women disproportionately than men, particularly in the veterans community. What can you speak about specifically that the Department of Veterans Services, in their partnership with the Virginia Employment Commission, is doing to kind of work with women veterans moving forward, or veterans in general moving forward with reemployment?
Absolutely. We thank you so much for that question, Anthony. And what we're looking at, the national statistic right now is actually saying women veterans are having about 30% of a harder time connecting with viable employment compared to their male counterparts. And when I say viable, I'm getting out of the military with skill set and HIPAA privacy. I can deal with medical records. I can work in a records room, but maybe because I don't necessarily have the civilian version of the certifications, I have to go to a job that's not quite in my skill set just to kind of get entry level or get my foot in the door. So there are a couple things we're doing specifically here in Virginia. So I kind of started with, or I didn't kind of start, I started with the Virginia Department of Veteran Services with the Military Medics and Corpsmen program, which is a phenomenal bridge program that reaches out to former medics and former corpsmen, and of course, health technicians, Air Force, Coast Guards, all of the branches are covered. If you have any healthcare expertise or those healthcare occupations. And what the team does, the Military Medics and Corpsmen team, we have partner healthcare systems, hospitals like Centera, Inova, Bon Secours that have signed a memorandum of agreement with the state to hire and to retain military medics and corpsmen that have the appropriate skill sets. They go through our team, we do an intake, we help them with resumes, we make sure that we do a connect fit, and then we allow and encourage our veterans that come to us through us to apply for the specific jobs that are open at these healthcare systems. The ICT, the intermediate care technician, the clinical care technician, some of those are the names. Carillion Healthcare is another. We have healthcare systems in all the regions here in Virginia, so you don't have to necessarily leave Northern Virginia and have to work in Tidewater. There are hospitals in each of the regions that the MMAC team can support our veterans, our women veterans, our veterans with, to get connected to meaningful employment in the healthcare space, to continue using the skill set that they received and perfected in the military and carry it into the civilian sector. So that's pretty industry specific. So for those that are interested, we have that information on our website, a very simple application process to the state, because it's really about just collecting your information and starting the process of working with the veteran for their resumes and getting them connected with the HR specialists at the right hospitals. We also have one of our phenomenal teams, the VTAP team, the Virginia Transition and Assistance Program. And when we have our veterans reach out to us needing the support with the employment services, we have a teammate in each of the regions again that can support them with goal setting, career coaching. They're all career coach certified and qualified, and they're able to walk with a veteran from 12 months before they transition to transition point and help them prepare, do the checklists that they need to look at, prepare for mock interviews, making sure that they're doing solid introductions to our V3 certified companies. We have V3, which is Virginia Values Veterans certified companies that have committed to our governor that they are looking for veterans to support and to hire. And so VTAP introduces our our veterans to the employers and help them be able to make those connections. So those are two of our biggest programs that help our women veterans with employment. And then, of course, we have a solid partnership with the Virginia Employment Commission that has the JVSG grant, which is the Jobs for Veterans grant. And we also have those partners that have DVOPs and levers for service members that have barriers to employment. So hopefully that answers the question.
Thank you so much. That's wonderful information. Moving forward here, and this is a question that can be directed to Ms. Estabrooks or Dr. Siemens. In what ways has the influx of women veterans into the VA system shaped the path of the VA moving forward? And just to give a brief statistic on that, in the last 5 years, there's been a 29% increase in women veterans utilizing VA healthcare services. So whoever would like to take that one.
Well, I hope I spoke to that just a bit in my introductory remarks about the aging male population shifting to a younger female population. It has been a very big shift, not just in terms of meeting the demands of women coming in, but anticipating what sort of services they're going to require. For example, we're looking at infertility workups and in vitro fertilization. Who would have thought that of the VA 30 years ago? We probably should have, but we didn't. And now we're working in that direction. It's a change in mindset. It's the visibility of women veterans. It's hiring more designated women's health providers. Women are very loyal and very dedicated users of healthcare, and that includes VA healthcare, which is good to see. When they engage with us, they're going to be healthier, they're going to be happier, and they're going to, so we love to see that. That certainly creates a demand for the services that they're going to need: preventive care, mammograms, colonoscopies, and obviously other specialty care. And I should add gender-specific mental health care as well.
And I would say yes to all that. You know, when I got my service-connected disability, 14 years ago, there was no women's health. I started at the Boise VA, and we were quite literally in a janitorial space. That was where women went for their health care. The men had the hospital, and we had a janitorial space with 2 rooms with curtains. And so there was a little bit of inequity when I started 14 years ago. But now, there's women's health. There's still some work to be done. But I think that it's safe to say that every secretary has left it better than it was before him. And I think that's the really important thing to say, is that there has been progress made. More and more women have become, just in the last few years, that the number of women who have enrolled in the VA has almost doubled. And I think that's really important, because the more that happens, the more the VA does better. And Congress is making changes, the VA is making changes. It's becoming, there are still problems with sexual harassment, but those are becoming fewer and less than they have been in the past, because the VA is making a more concerted effort to change that. That things like the White Ribbon Campaign are taking hold and are making a difference. And I think that, that, like I said, that every secretary has done a better job than the secretary before them for women veterans. And I think that we can expect to see that, because it is acknowledged that women veterans are going to continue to grow, and we need to anticipate higher need.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Moving to the next question here. I guess this would be.
Oh, we lost
I'm
you.
back. I'm back.
It's not. This is what happens. Keeping us moving and shaking.
There it is. So when it comes to, we mentioned a little bit of sexual harassment in the last answer, but moving specifically towards military sexual trauma, how are military sexual trauma survivors accommodated when it comes to the evaluation of, this is VBA specific claims, or in this case specific to their treatment? Is there accommodations made for those individuals who survived that trauma?
I'd like to start, and then I want Dr. Siemens to answer. But I think it's really, really important to say this so it doesn't get missed. You do not have to have a service-connected disability if you have had experienced sexual harassment or assault or rape while you were on active duty. You do not have to have a service-connected disability in order to get care at the VA. I always want to make sure that veterans hear that, because you are entitled to care and treatment at the VA, even if you don't have a service-connected disability. You don't have to have proof that it happened. You contact the VA and you say, this happened to me and I need to get treatment. So having said that, I will let Dr. Siemens answer the question.
Well, thank you, ma'am. No, I appreciate that. I would add that MST is often a male issue as well. We find equal numbers. While men have a higher percentage of veterans are male, the number of military sexual trauma victims are about equal. So when we have a report of military sexual trauma, we actually have an MST coordinator here. And that is, there's a warm handoff. This is not just, we'll make an appointment. We actually take the veteran to the MST coordinator, and then she takes it from there. As far as claims, I can't really speak to the VBA side, but it is taken very seriously with, I can tell you in the VA as a whole. This speaks also, or connects to what I was saying a few minutes ago about mental health services for veterans. This is something I have to add on a personal note. I feel that is such a failure as a career officer, career naval officer. I served with the Navy and the Marines. For us to have allowed these incredible numbers to have happened to these patriotic women who are joining the armed forces, and then for us to fail to, prevent or often take action is something that's very hard for good career officers to get over. I think we feel, what can we do about it now? Well, we can help them, and we can help them recover, and but it's something that means an awful lot to a lot of us.
If I might add something to that also. So under our VDVS benefit services, we have veteran services representatives who can also assist our women veterans develop a claim if they need to. If they have a preference of working with male or female claim support, they have that preference also, and we're able to always accommodate them. We have regional managers that can support them, and they're seasoned and they're trained in how to connect with our women veterans and meet them where they are as they're sharing their stories to be able to build a claim also.
And I want to add also, before I came to the VA, I was a women veterans coordinator in Oregon, and one of the really common beliefs is that if you don't have proof, you can't file a claim. And I want to disabuse people of that notion. You do not have to have had proof of what happened to you. I myself, for me, it was a nonstop, minute by minute harassment that happened to me for the full 3 years that I was in. There was no proof of that. There was zero proof of that happening, in spite of the fact that I made regular claims to my sergeants, to my officers, and yet I was still able to make a successful claim, in part because I had a good VSO. And so please don't think that you need to have proof. And please understand that harassment can also get you a military sexual trauma claim. But the other thing that I want you to hear is that oftentimes women receive dishonorable discharges or less than honorable discharges after they were sexually assaulted or raped or harassed. So those can be, get yourself somebody like Beverly who can help you fix that, because you can get that addressed so that you can get your benefits. Again, don't make the decision that you don't think you qualify for services. Seek the assistance of a professional like Beverly who can help you through that.
I've got to say that it's really encouraging to hear the evolution within the military and the benefit systems about these survivors of MST and the way that they're treated now. And I hope that everybody watching will who is on the fence and feels like, well, maybe I don't want to relive all this, or maybe it was my fault, or I have that dishonorable discharge, that they will think twice and at least consult with Beverly or some sort of specialist about what their options may be, because it sounds like there is a new approach to this, which is more humane and more enlightened. So do not be discouraged, the survivors of MST.
Ma'am, we've built a community of support here in Virginia for our women veterans, and they can feel safe and comfortable to reach out to us. And we reach out to, like Liz and all of our partners at the VA to really surround them with the care, the support, and the services that they need. We meet our Virginia women veterans where they are.
Thank you so much. That was enlightening and fantastic, and I appreciate all of that insight. And just to add on to that, if you're unsure where to go, if you're unsure who to talk to, contact us. Contact our office. Contact me directly. I will get you in touch with the right folks. That's one of my jobs here is to liaise with our veterans in the community and make
Anthony,
sure
what's
they're the right.
What's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
Best way to get in contact with me is via email, and that is Anthony.Barnes, Barnes, at mail.house.gov. You can also reach us by phone. Our phone numbers are listed on our website, and I believe on this Facebook page that you're probably watching on this one right now. And just ask to speak with me, and I will get in contact with you. You can also reach us through our website under services that help with the federal agency. Many different ways, but we're always here. And I take great pride in helping my fellow veterans every step of the way. So please utilize that resource if you can.
Well, I can attest to that, Anthony. You are fantastic. So thanks.
Thank you. Okay, so we've got a few minutes left here, so I'd like to get to maybe one more question. Beverly, you actually hit on something I really was going to ask you about next, which was your claims support through service officers. So that's great. So we'll move on to the next one. Technology has taken a massive role, of course, in the general population through COVID. Can we talk a little bit about what the VA has done? And this has been mentioned a little bit, but the VA has done, and Virginia has done, to increase communication with women veterans through healthcare, through benefits, and through resources, utilizing technology in the last year, and how that translates moving forward. And that's directed at anybody, sorry.
I was on a presentation panel, or I wasn't on the panel, but I was listening to Dr. Hayes, Patricia Hayes, speak recently at our partners breakfast, and telehealth has been a tremendous asset to the VA. In fact, women veterans, it turns out, are greater users of telehealth than men veterans. It has increased by 1,700% for women veterans compared to 1,000% for men veterans. It is not for everybody. There are a lot of people who still are not comfortable with telehealth. But the beauty of telehealth is, if you're not comfortable going to the VA, if you're not comfortable sitting in the waiting room, if you can't because of childcare issues or because of work issues, one of the very first veterans I ever met was a teller at a bank, and she was only 8 miles from the VA. Or as Dr. Siemens said of COVID fear, she was only 8 miles from the VA, but she was new to her job. She couldn't take time off. She had her child issues. She had severe PTSD. Getting to the VA for a mental health appointment had so many barriers for her. Telehealth would have been a great solution for her that she would have embraced. But that was 5 years ago, and telehealth really was not being used. So if you're interested in telehealth, contact your primary care provider, and they can help you with that.
Thank you. Yeah, we have several methods of that. Our secure messaging is basically email, is very popular. We also have obviously virtual care by VA Video Connect, which is also very popular, and we're making sure that all of our physicians and surgeons are very comfortable with it too. Mental health were some of the first to sort of hop onto that. Psychiatrists have been doing it for quite a while, and COVID obviously accelerated that quite a bit, and we're happy to do that.
So I totally want to chime in here and just thank the VA for all of the work they've done with the telehealth platforms. My women veterans, or Virginia's women veterans, have absolutely made way more use of the services available to them. They've been inquiring more about it because now it's accessible. It gave them the flexibility to be in a safe space and get their health care. And without even realizing it, and I know this is probably a bit of a stretch, but some of the good things that came out of last year's COVID pandemic was finding out that enhancing our virtual services was a solid way to reach those hidden communities of our women veterans. They weren't ready to come out in public, or they weren't ready to, really announce it, but being in the comfort and safety of their own home, being able to reach out and have conversations just like we're having right now. You're watching us at your home, probably on your smartphone device, and getting this information and being able to share it with other women veterans, or maybe someone from their church or from their local supermarket knows that they're a woman veteran, and they're able to share these resources with them. So it's been phenomenal, and we've seen that increase here also with the virtual space. In 2020, we took our over 800 woman veteran summit event, where we had people setting up exhibits coming from as far as New York and Georgia in person, and really enjoying with us in the convention center. We turned that in less than like 6 weeks to a fully virtual event. And when I share with you today that we saw the impact, and we were so surprised. I know between myself and my commissioner, Deputy Commissioner Walker, we're happy if 50 people show up. We were going to be happy because we wanted to still stay connected with our women veterans and provide them some quality information. We still had speakers that were like, still count us in, no worries. We had to scale it down and had to figure it out. But when I tell you, we had over 1,300 RSVPs and over 2.5 day fully virtual event, 2.5 full days. When I'm telling you, like 9 to 5, they stayed with us 2 full days and a Friday morning. And we had 30 states join us. We had pretty much over 70 counties, cities, and townships here in Virginia join us. And we had about 3 or 4 international folks from Brazil, folks from the UK, Japan join us. And we were so, surprised that we had such reach with the virtual platform. And we're going to actually do that again this year, 2021. Please mark your calendars, June 23rd and 24th. We're going to slim it down from 2.5 to 2 days. Folks did tell us that it's a little bit much to have 2.5 full working days. So we're going to slim it down probably towards more like 9 to 4 or 10 to 4 on the June 23rd and 24th. And we're going to have another phenomenal virtual experience together.
Fantastic.
I would like to add a correction. That 1,000% and 1,700%, that was telemental health. Sometimes I forget to say the mental part when I'm talking about telehealth. So that was telemental health.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So I know, speaking for myself, I could sit here and ask questions and hear your thoughts all day. We are time limited, unfortunately. So I'd ask if any of you have any final thoughts you'd like to kick in, and then we'll kick it over to the Congresswoman for a send off.
No, just thank you so much, Congresswoman, for all you do and for this panel and this Facebook event. It was wonderful to be here. Appreciate your involvement. And thank you, Dr. Siemens and Beverly and Anthony.
So I'll go ahead and go next. One of my mentors always shares a quote, and I would kind of like to take a moment and share it. Share a quote that's touched me. Tell the story of the mountain you climbed. Your words become a page in someone else's survival guide. And it's all about women veterans telling your story. See, there is only one way that people will understand our experience, our journey, our expertise, our impact. We have to tell our stories so folks can understand where we're coming from, and so that they can join us in helping us move to the next stage and to continue what our hearts want to do, increase in community impact. We want to do more, Congresswoman Wexton, to help you do the great things you're doing in District 10. So I encourage every woman veteran under the sound of my voice, share your story and encourage some other woman veteran to be able to participate and partake in the benefits that they have earned with their honorable service. And if there are any ways that they need help, tell them, let us help them. Myself, Liz, Dr. Siemens, Anthony, Congresswoman Wexton, we're here for you. You don't have to second guess it. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Beverly. You took the words right out of my mouth. That was, I do encourage women, all of your sisters are sisters at arms, to come see us, give us a call. This is a part of treating veterans that we really enjoy doing. If you can't tell, we're very excited about, and we would love for you all to join us.
Well, I just want to thank everybody for joining us this morning. Beverly, Elizabeth, Dr. Siemens, and Anthony. You guys care about veterans so much, and you guys have so much knowledge and passion for the work that you do. It's wonderful. I hope that everybody who's listening will call 5 of their friends who are veterans and women veterans and make sure that they're taking advantages of the benefits that they have earned through their service. So I want to thank everybody so much for all that they're doing. Thank you, those of you at home who tuned in. And have a wonderful Women's Veterans Week and a wonderful spring. Take care and stay safe, everybody. Thanks.